In this video, we're going to be working with multiple sheets. We're going to start off by going to the folder called Multiple Sheets. And we're going to click on this file called Excel Review Multiple Sheets. Open it up. Enable editing. We have our file. I want to click on initially 2013 Summary. The sheet called 2013 Summary. When you're looking at this sheet, it's listing 20 stores. We have a column for milk sales, soda, and also gas. And then we want to determine the 2013 store sales, which already has a formula in here, which is basically adding the information that's right here. Now, once again, what our objective is to fill in this 2013 summary by adding the quantities for each store in quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, before we get going on that, a very important component of this whole exercise is to keep in mind that if we're going to be adding multiple sheets or averaging multiple sheets, we have to make sure that our information is set up as a template. And by a template, it's already been set up and it's always going to be in that same way. For instance, clicking on row 3, we have store 1 listed. Clicking on row 22, we have store 20 listed. Now, if we're going to be adding information from quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's very important to make sure that store 1 for each of those quarters is always listed in row 3. In store 20, it's always listed in row 22. For instance, beginning at quarter 1, we can see here, store 1 is in 3, store 20 is in 22. We go to quarter 2. Same way, we've already populated this information for each of the quarters. Quarter 3, quarter 4. So in all cases, store 1 is always in row 3. Store 20 is always in row 22. So it's a template. It's already been created beforehand. Let's click on 2013 Summary. And we're going to go up to the cell B3. Now, once again, what our objective is to populate B3 with the sales from quarter 1 plus quarter 2 plus quarter 3 plus quarter 4. Now, the order here is very important. It's always reading, because we're going to actually get a range here. It's always reading from left to right. So in other words, our formula is going to state we want a sum starting in sheet Q1, colon, all the way to Q4. Left to right. That's our range. Now, let's actually give an example of what we mean here. So we're starting off in cell B3. We want to sum the sales for store 1, for milk sales, starting at quarter 1 all the way over to quarter 4. We're summing. So we're going to begin by clicking on Auto Sum. When we look at that formula here, right now it's saying sum open parenthesis, close parenthesis. There's nothing inside of it because Excel is waiting for us to tell it what the range is. So we're going to begin that process by next clicking on Q1 sheet. That's our beginning point. We want to sum starting at sheet Q1. So by clicking on Q1, the sheet has now been put in here. And then we're going to click on cell B3. So once again, what we're telling Excel here is that we want to sum starting in the sheet called Q1 in cell B3. Our objective is to get all these sheets starting at Q1 all the way over to Q4. And how we get the rest of that range is by holding down the Shift key and then left clicking on Q4. So we held down the Shift key and left clicked on Q4. What's showing here right now is a formula that's saying sum or add starting at the sheet Q1 all the way over to the sheet, there's a colon here, so it's a range, all the way over to the sheet Q4 in cell B3. B3, as we already said for our template, would contain information for store 1 milk sales, really in all of the sheets. Click the check mark. Let's look at our formula. So it's showing 400, but how it was derived, the formula, sum sheet starting at sheet Q1 all the way over to Q4 in cell B3. That's our correct pattern. We're going to go to our fill handle, copy across, copy down, let's click on the global button, come up in between the columns where we have a cross and quickly double left click to enlarge the column size. Let's go down here to check our formula and what it's showing, summing all the way from Q1 to Q4. Always Q1 to Q4 in cell B22. Now, I mentioned before the importance of the arrangement of the sheets. It's always reading from left to right. So basically what we could do is take Q3, just to show that point, hold down our mouse, left mouse, and drag it to the left of Q1. So I dragged the sheet Q3 and made it to the left, or placed it to the left of Q1. If I go into my summary sheet, you can see that everything has changed. And the reason why it's changed is that, once again, my formula is still adding from Q1 to Q4, Q1 to Q4. See, Q3 is no longer within that range. That's why it's not being included. So once again, that's just to emphasize the importance of the order of the sheets. It's always reading from left to right. To change that formula back, I can hold down on my Q3, drag and drop it to the place that it had been. So it's now Q1, 2, 3, and 4. They're in the same order. If I look at my summary sheet, we can see where our numbers have changed. Now quickly, to print this up for distribution, the easiest way of doing it would be by clicking on Q1, holding down the Shift key and left clicking on 2013 summary. So in other words, we've grouped these 5 sheets together. We grouped it by left clicking on Q1, holding down the Shift key and left clicking on 2013 summary. We're grouping to prepare for printing. We'll go up to page layout, margins, narrow, orientation, landscape. See that twirling around means that the print settings are being applied to all 5 sheets. Page setup. Click here. Header, footer, custom header. We want to insert a page number. Once again, we want to make sure we click on that. Insert a page number. Go to our middle header or center section. Click on Insert a Sheet Name. Click OK. Custom footer. Come down here to the left. Insert a file name. Click OK. Print preview. We have 5 sheets. Sheet 1. You can see everything is now changing. Page 2, quarter 2, 3, 4, 5, which is our summary. Thank you.